You know, there are 12 words in the Bible that, I believe, hold the power to completely dismantle the anxiety that so many of us live with. Now, I know that's a bold claim, but these words, they're hidden in plain sight, in a place you've probably read 100 times and never even noticed.
And what's really wild is that most preachers, when they read this verse, they skip right over the part that holds all the power. But today, today we are not skipping anything. We're going deep.
Here it is, Galatians chapter 1, verse 3. Grace to you, and peace from God the Father and our Lord Jesus Christ. I mean, it sounds like a pretty standard greeting, right? Just the formal opening to a letter. But it's not. It's so much more. It's a declaration. It's a spiritual bombshell just waiting to go off. And I promise you, when you truly see what the Apostle Paul packed into these 12 little words, it will fundamentally change how you relate to God, and maybe even change how you fight for peace in your own life. So stick with me on this. So let's start by just taking a look at what this text actually says. Paul is writing to a group of churches in a region called Galatia, and they are in a full-blown spiritual crisis. See, they're being told that faith in Jesus, well, it isn't quite enough. They're being told they need to add religious performance, rules, and rituals to truly be right with God. And that pressure, well, it was creating this deep, crushing spiritual anxiety.
So what does Paul do? Does he start with a list of rules to correct them? No. He starts with this greeting. But what if this isn't just a hello? What if these 12 words are the opening shot in a spiritual revolution against performance and anxiety? And that revolution starts with our first clue, the very first real word of his blessing. It's a word that changes absolutely everything: grace.
Now, this is where you can see the genius of what Paul is doing. The standard, normal Greek way to start a letter was with the word eirēnē. It just means greetings. But Paul, he does this little wordplay. He swaps it for a word that sounds almost identical, charis. And that one letter change shifts the entire meaning from a simple hello to a profound theological statement. Because charis means grace. And listen, this isn't just any kind of favor. In Paul's hands, this word becomes the technical term for the unmerited, unearned, absolutely undeserved favor of God. It's not just a gift we receive, it's also the divine power that enables us to live the Christian life. Think of it this way: it's the engine, not just the ticket to get on the train. And this just brilliantly highlights the core issue. Paul isn't just saying hello. No, he is declaring the very foundation of the gospel, the foundation that the Galatians were being tempted to walk away from. The entire rest of this fiery, passionate letter is a defense of this one single word, charis. And this just keeps building, because after dropping the bombshell of charis, Paul immediately connects it to our second clue, the promise of real peace. The Greek word here is eirēnē. But to really understand it, you have to think in Hebrew. Eirēnē is the direct equivalent of that famous Hebrew word, shalom. And shalom is so much bigger than our English word peace. It's not just the absence of fighting or conflict. No, it's wholeness. It's completeness. It is total well-being that comes from being fully reconciled and in a right relationship with God Himself. So here's the crucial point, and you really have to see the order here. Notice Paul doesn't say peace and grace. He very intentionally says grace, then peace. And that order, it's non-negotiable. First, you receive God's unearned favor, His charis. Only then, as a direct result of that grace, can you experience true eirēnē, that deep shalom with God. You see, you cannot earn peace. You can't work your way to it. You can only receive it as a gift that flows directly from grace. And this is a direct counterattack on that anxiety-inducing message that you have to perform to find peace with God. Okay, so grace is the engine, peace is the result. But where do these incredible gifts actually come from? Well, the last part of the verse gives us the answer. And hiding in the Greek grammar is a profound revelation that, honestly, most people just read right over. This is where we find the hidden source code of the gospel. Paul is about to make this powerful implicit statement about the very nature of God. It's incredible. Look at the flow here. Grace and peace come from, and that word from is the Greek preposition apo, meaning from a source. And then notice what follows.
Paul doesn't say from God and then separately from Jesus. He treats them as a single, unified source, God the Father and our Lord Jesus Christ. And here it is. This is the theological bombshell. Paul uses a single preposition, apo, to govern both the Father and the Son. Grammatically, he unites them. He locks them together. This means that grace and peace flow from the Father and the Son as a single, unified, divine fountain. In the original Greek, this is a powerful, airtight grammatical declaration of the deity of Jesus Christ, the belief that he is not just a great prophet, but is fully and equally God, the co-equal source of all divine blessing. Now, this is not just a cool grammar lesson. This revelation is meant to be lived, because the source of our peace determines the stability of our lives. So the big question is, how does this ancient truth actually dismantle our modern anxiety? Well, because this isn't just theology. It's a blueprint. It's the architecture for a life that is free from the exhausting treadmill of performance and the anxiety it produces. It tells us that our standing with God, our sense of wholeness, is not something we build, but something we receive from a single unified divine source who is both our Father and our Lord. So let's make this really personal for a moment. Just reflect on this. Do you live as if grace and peace are gifts you've already received? Or do you wake up every morning feeling like you need to earn God's love and peace all over again that day? Be honest. And let's go one step deeper. Where are you seeking that deep sense of shalom, of peace, from sources other than God's grace? Is it your bank account? Is it your relationship status, your success at work, your control over your life? Any source other than the unified flow of grace from the Father and the Son will ultimately always lead to anxiety. So how do we actually live this out? Well, here are 3 simple practices. First, practice receiving. Instead of starting your day trying to earn God's favor, start by simply praying, God, today I receive your unearned favor. Just let that be your foundation. Second, trace your anxiety. The moment you feel that familiar knot of worry, stop and ask yourself, what am I trusting in right now besides Christ for my peace? Is it my own strength, my plan, my savings? Get really specific. And third, become a distributor. The grace and peace you've received, they aren't meant to stop with you. Because you freely receive them, make it your mission to freely give them away to the people in your life. You know, if this deep dive is helping you see these 12 words in a completely new light, do me a favor and comment your biggest takeaway below. I'd really love to see what's connecting with you. Plus, it really helps more people discover this teaching. And I'll leave you with this final thought to carry with you. If you truly believed, down in your bones, that grace and peace are unstoppable gifts flowing constantly from the Father and the Son directly to you, what burden of performance, of fear, of anxiety would you finally give yourself permission to drop today?